Good morning and welcome to H3 TV, where we meet every week to talk about disruption. We all face them. We face literal disruptions like a hurricane. We face physical disruptions like a diagnosis, a divorce, a death. And yet we also face emotional disruptions where life feels overwhelming and we're not sure where to go. So I come to you every week with a different guest to talk about hope, health, and happiness, even in the hard. And so I want to say to you, Happy New Year, Happy 2026. And maybe, like me, you've already started with a few disruptions, but that doesn't mean we can't decide to live a hopeful, healthy, and happy life. So I'm super happy you're with me today. And I ask you and encourage you, ask questions, leave a comment. We love to see who's listening, and we love to encourage you on your journey, whether you're facing disruption or not. Today, I have my friend John with me. Please welcome John to the stage. Hey, John, good to have you.
Hey, Annie, thanks for having me. Looking forward to
Absolutely.
the conversation today.
Absolutely. Please tell us who you are, what you do, where you live, all the good things.
So, John King, live in North Alabama with my family here. I've got a 20-year-old son and a 17-year-old daughter that just graduated. Been married for 24 plus years. I'm a veteran that retired in 17 that went to the corporate world for a few years and then turned into an entrepreneur. And now I have multiple businesses.
Fantastic. Fantastic. John, would you be willing to share with us today either of a professional or a personal disruption that you have faced?
Yeah, you told me to keep it to one, in my life and my journey through it's been multiple, but the story there has always been resilience. And one of the things, when you talk about resilience is my transition from the Air Force to the Army and not getting picked up the first time and getting told no when you think you're the top of the top and you deserve to be there and you get told no and having to take that gut check. And then the other one I'll say is when I retired from the military and got my disability rating back and saw that I was 100% PTSD for combat. And when you read that diagnosis, it's a kick in the gut to a person that takes pride in what they do and how they do things. So,
yeah, I think we're going to focus on leaving the military and having that PTSD diagnosis. And thank you for sharing that and being vulnerable with us, John. We know that many of our listeners are dealing with PTSD for a variety of reasons, whether it's military or the trauma of Hurricane Ian or something horrific they've faced in their life. So thank you for sharing that. I want to bring you back to that day when you did have that diagnosis. And you can see already it's very emotional for you. It still very much impacts your life. How do you, with the diagnosis of PTSD, leaving the military where you've given not only time, but heart and energy and your passion and your love, and then you're leaving with this deep, big wound, not a wound that can't be healed, but a big wound. And so how have you stayed healthy or hopeful? Let's start with hope. Where did you find hope in those dark days of that diagnosis and of just, you have a vision for how it's going to be when you leave, and now you have to recreate. So how did you stay hopeful? What are some of the things you have done or you do today?
Take it one step at a time. Another thing that I found is as military, generally you come back from combat or any other situation, right? And we look for that high that we had while we were there, that adrenaline rush. And so a lot of people turn to drugs and alcohol and other high level risk things. I found that there's two things in my life that drive a passion and get that same result. One is the food that I cook. When I can fill a room, do a cook, and everybody shuts up. They're not arguing, they're not griping, they're not complaining about anything in their world. They're all focused on that one thing. From that one thing, I can build a bridge. Sorry. The other is when I'm able to help others get their win. Being able to help people get that win is a high that is unmatched. And, 300 plus missions as a medevac pilot, everything from a stub toe up, that's a hard high to match, going from a completely lull to the worst day in somebody's life potentially and coming back and making sure that the ones that follow know that they're going to be brought home. So for me, those are the two things that I pushed my passion to and my pride to. And
I love that, John. I think you gave us three actually of how you stay hopeful. And I love all three of them. And you no sorries. You never need to apologize for emotion. I wish the world was more free to be emotional, especially men, because holding it in always makes us sick. But you said three things, and now I know why we're friends, John. The first thing you said is take it one day at a time. Such a message of recovery for addiction. I've been around AA and Al-Anon my whole life. And so we know one day at a time, life isn't quite as overwhelming. So the first thing you said is take it one day at a time. Second thing you said is food, which I'm like, oh, that's all about me. Let's gather around food. And if you fill people's mouths, they cannot talk. And if we cannot talk, we cannot complain. So you feed their mouth. But the third thing, and maybe the most important thing that I really have a heart for and think is so important in this world today, is community. And we have to gather around. I have a dear friend I met in Stratton Island when I was doing a mission trip, and he feeds people every day. That's his call on life, as he calls it, half table, and he feeds people. Is that when we gather face to face and share a meal, it fills our soul as well as our body. So I love that you have that, John. I think people have I'll just text you. No, we need that connection. We need to be face to face sharing a meal. Now, I don't mind if people share on my plate because I'm one of 7 kids. So when people are like, I don't share, I'm like, what do you mean you don't share? Everybody shares. So I love that. Those are 3 great things. I want to know about health, John. Now, when I think about you being healthy, I always think, I used to own gyms, and physical health is important. It's so important. And actually any area of health we don't take care of can make us physically ill. But when I think about health, John, I think about physical, mental, emotional, financial, relational, career, and spiritual health. What are some things you do on those hard days that pop up at any time to keep yourself healthy? Do you have some steps or some strategies you could share with our listeners that are maybe going through a similar experience or some PSTD of their own? What are some things you do to stay healthy in any area?
I'd say the biggest thing is just when you're overwhelmed, pick one thing. It could be your finances, which, you know, most people stress about and they agonize over at times. It could be your physical health and taking that one step to walk every day or one time a week, and just ultimately take that one step, no matter what direction it is, and pick that one thing. And that way you take all this overwhelming stuff and you don't get rid of it. It never goes away. But what it allows you to do is funnel it in a manner which you can control it. You can build those habits that draw that positive influence and that positive thing in your environment and your reality. And so
Excellent,
pushing that
John. Do
positivity.
you have something, I know you're giving us kind of suggestions, but do you have something you specifically do like every morning or every evening to stay grounded? Do you have maybe a 3-step program or something like that you implement in your own life so you can stay healthy?
And I wish I could answer that with a specific thing, but I truly don't have anything that I do. I'm a weirdo that way. That I know there's many people out there that have that specific routine that they follow, and I have a certain routine to a certain point, but there's nothing that I can point to specifically and go, yep, this is what I do to do it. Because for me and my situation, I need it to be different. I need it to be something different. I can't just have one single thing that I set on and that's my thing. I have to be able to adjust and move and let my brain free flow. So for me, I'm weird. I don't have just one thing.
I don't think there's one right answer. I don't think it makes you weird. I think it's an important thing to think about. You kind of listed a few things, like sometimes you walk, sometimes you pick one thing. Sometimes, I just wasn't, sometimes people do have a specific, for me, I have a fairly specific morning that helps me stay grounded, but you also got to work with how your brain and body works and how you heal as well. How about happy? Where do you find happiness and humor in your life, John, especially on those hard days? Where can you go? You seem like a very happy, smiley guy. Where do you go to find that joy, that happiness, and that humor?
Surprisingly enough, doing stuff like this and engaging with people in a level that would not normally be done. Owning the bar and grill, I do fun stuff where I do an event. I did one the other day where I said, buy your buddy a beer. And the concept was, if you're at the bar and grill and you see somebody drinking a drink that's similar to yours, you can buy yours for the regular price. You can buy theirs for $1. That way you can reach out and touch and connect with the community and ultimately talk to the people that you see every day. So it's the connections, it's the building of those relationships and doing more for the community and others at the end of the day.
I love that. And whether it's a beer or a cup of coffee or a cheeseburger, like just do something for someone else. Not only does it make them feel good, I always think when I get to be the giver, I feel twice as good as the receiver because I love to give. So I love that you're implementing that. And sometimes people need a little bit of a tap to think outside the box. Hey, buy your buddy a beer, buy your buddy a drink, do something for a friend. I love that. John, I wonder was there some sort of wisdom that you have now in your life that you wish you would have known or someone would have told you before you joined the military? And if so, what was that?
I'm going to go with my 4 F's.
Okay.
And we'll bleep one of them out. But if it doesn't affect your family, your future, your finances, don't effing worry about it. That's it.
Okay. Tell me again. What is it? If it don't affect
your family, your
family,
future,
future,
or finances,
finances.
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. And you can add an
My four
adjective,
F's.
but there you go. Now I got the four. I was like, I was missing one. I got it. And those are really good strains. That's a great tip. I think our listeners think about that. Like sometimes we spend so much time and energy worrying about things that don't affect us, our family, our finances. So that's a great tip, John. I love that. John, is there anybody you've worked with where you met them and they were really at the lowest of low? They really were feeling hopeless. They were feeling unhealthy, unhappy, and you've really helped support them and transform. Is there anyone you can share a story with us about that you've worked with?
Ooh, you like these specific things, and I love it. It makes me think.
As a volunteer, it doesn't have to be paid. It can be paid or volunteer.
So I'm going to throw this one out there. It's a little different, a little unique. I did I sponsored a 3/4 size Vietnam Memorial Wall to Talladega International Motorsports Hall of Fame a couple of races ago and represented 70,000 plus fallen from Vietnam forward between the wall and the additional panels. Mm-hmm. And while doing that, it was a great thing. But what really has been a joy of that event is I was, oddly enough, on a reality show back last year, and one of the judges mentioned that one of her friends had passed away in service of the country. So I went back and I reviewed the videos that I had where I'd scanned the panels. I froze it, zoomed in, found her friend's name, brought it back to her the next day. It was truly able to show her that he was gone, but he was not forgotten. So it's elements like that no, she wasn't in a super low spot, but the joy that brought her to know that her friend was still there.
Yeah.
You can see it matters to me.
Very much.
The other thing is under Veteran Reach Back Group, I do combat related special compensation. And I'm on average right now of running about 10 to 12 veterans a day that I'm able to help. I don't charge. I want them to get their win. So I know you like the woods, but that's the two I'll roll with.
Oh, those are huge wins. I love both of those. And it's also that like saying what really you're doing, John, is exactly what you are called to do. You're honoring a life. And in the honoring a life that has passed, you're honoring a life that is living. And you're showing that woman, I still care. And you took the time and energy and effort to find it and to shine light into it and on her. So I love that so much, John. I know you have such a deep heart for veterans. I've met many veterans and many veterans that have started organizations and businesses to give back because you know better than any of us, no matter how many stories you tell us, if we haven't lived it, it's a very different experience. But what I know, John, is many of my listeners are veterans. What I know is many of my listeners are parents of veterans, friends of veterans, spouses of veterans. And that when we don't know something, it's easy to minimize it. So I love your heart. I love the depth of your emotion and care for this community that can never have enough love and support and voice. Because some people just come home and silently suffer with a bottle or with isolation or with depression, and their family leaves them because they don't understand them. So I love that you are speaking that voice. John, if there was one thing you could tell our listeners right now, in particular our veterans, what do you want to say? How do you want to pour into them, encourage them? But any listeners facing disruption, but in particular our veterans, what do you want to say to spread your encouragement?
This too shall pass. That's the thing that we always have to remember. And if we dwell on the negative, that's what we'll surround ourselves with. If we can stop even for a moment and find that one spark of light, focus and build that light and what it allows to shine on you, you'll still succeed.
Yeah. Beautiful. And I would say, don't be alone in it, right? Like we need community. We need to share our stories. We need to say, there's nothing wrong with you. This is real. What you feel is real. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to be sad. What you saw and what you experienced and what so many military experience is horrific, gut-wrenching, traumatic. And to say, now come home and go get a job and be happy isn't, first of all, might not even be possible, but second of all, isn't easy. You need that transition. So I love that you create community. I love that you care for individuals and community. Do you have a group of veterans that meet together, John, in person or online?
There's a couple of different groups that I'm part of that we meet and sync, whether it's virtually, in person, from business standpoint, the veteran standpoint. As you've heard me talk, it's straight about community and what we can do together. We all sit and struggle in silence a lot of times and feel like we're alone in the battle that we're doing. But when we actually open our eyes and we look left or right, we see others that are doing the exact same thing or having the same struggles that we had a week ago, that we now can reach back, open our eyes and ears and arms to, that we can help support each other to ensure that we're all successful in our own right. And to me, financially isn't just the end all be all of the success. When I look at the things, money's nothing more than a tool, right? And everybody wants it. Everybody needs it. Got it. That's the thing. That's inevitable. But what is important about that is how you leverage that, and not letting that become your master, and not letting that become your focus. Have your mission, your passion be your focus and your drive to get where you want to go.
I love that, John. I feel like really God has just really given me this visual of this, where my arms just reaching back to pull people forward, just reaching back. And I think that is one thing that I also keep surrounding myself with, people that are doing the exact same thing. They have gotten to a point, and it could be in relationship, in finances, in mental health, and communication, and they are reaching back to help the next person get there. They're reaching back because they remember what it was like when it was super hard and overwhelming, when they felt alone, when they felt like the only one. And I love that you're doing that. I see you, John, is just reaching back and pulling forward, reaching back and pulling forward. So what I want to say to our listeners is, if you want to connect with John, he has so much wisdom. He has such a heart for veterans, but for humanity, for connection, for food, for community. So what's the best way to meet with you, John? What's the best place to find you online?
Reaching out on LinkedIn. John N. King is the best way to find me. And you might have to dig around a little bit. I'm not the easiest to find. I've learned, having a very common name, but that's it.
We'll share the
it's
link.
Yep.
There you go. We'll share it. I encourage my listeners to follow John, gain more wisdom, more encouragement. As you can see, John is very authentic in his story, in his passion, and in his heart to care deeply about all the lives that have been impacted by PTSD, by serving our country, and then not always being celebrated. I love that you honor Vietnam veterans, as I know too many that feel they never got that honor. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being my guest today. Thank you for being my listener. Remember, if you have any questions for myself or John, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments, and both of us will respond and encourage you on your journey to the highest of highs and through the lowest of lows. Even in the face of disruption, there's always hope, health, and happiness to be had when we don't let our disruptions define us. Thank you, John, for being here, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you for having me. You as well.